Greetings. This will be a video regarding the Drake Passage around the South Sandwich Islands region just south of South America. I do feel that there may be another large earthquake to come. Now if we have a look at the previous two earthquakes which occurred on May 2nd, 7.4, and the follow-up earthquake 7.5 magnitude on August 22nd, I do feel that there is some symmetry which may indicate another earthquake to come, potentially around October 2025 or in March of 2026. Now if we have a look at the previous two earthquakes in Drake Passage, they were both marked by Pluto stations in 2020 and 2022, but importantly we have something quite powerful that occurred in 2020. We have the Jupiter and Saturn conjunction taking place nearby, as well as another planetary station almost on the exact same spot as the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction point, and I do feel that this may be an indication of a much larger earthquake to come around the region and potentially further to the east. Now if we look at the Jupiter-Saturn connection, it's right on Falkland Islands and stretches right through Drake Passage and into the South Shetland Islands, just on the periphery of the Scotia Sea. So I do feel that this is the area that could get a major event when you consider that the solar eclipse of 2021 is also focused just above the Falkland Island region. We're now going to focus on the Pluto station of 2023, as I feel it may be a future echo of an event to come. If we have a look at Pluto, it's stationed in this location. We see above the Falkland Islands and below the South Shetland Islands, but importantly note the connection and square aspect between Venus and Neptune taking place on this day. Also we have a planetary alignment between Sun and Mercury. Now if we have a look at the Jupiter and Saturn conjunction, it also had a Sun-Mercury conjunction on the same day, and we see that Neptune is connected hard into the nodes at square aspect. So this is an extremely important symmetry, and I do feel that this culmination of events will be showing themselves again in either 2025 or early 2026. Now I'm going to show the symmetry between both of these earthquakes that occurred in the Drake Passage region. If we go back to 2022, we have the station of Pluto, and note that at the exact time of the station of Pluto, which is marking the exact epicenter of the first earthquake to come on May 2nd, we see that there's a conjunction between Neptune and Venus. At the exact time of the earthquake, we get the conjunction between Neptune and Venus taking place, and the date of the first earthquake, 7.4 magnitude for Drake Passage. And just one more thing that's quite obvious, note the degree aspect of both Neptune and Venus, 24 and 25 degrees. Note that the node has moved into that same degree, 25 degrees at the time of the earthquake and the conjunction between Neptune and Venus in 2025. We're now looking at both earthquakes that have struck the Drake Passage in 2025. And that is the May 2nd 7.4 magnitude and the August 22nd magnitude 7.5. Now the features on both sides are Jupiter interacting with the node, the red triangle, and the blue triangle. That's the square with the node and the trine with the node. But if we just focus on Neptune's position at 1 degree at the time of its conjunction with Venus on the left hand side, then the first earthquake, Neptune has moved forward and then back retrograde, and then as it's hit the 1 degree aspect, we get the second earthquake. And I do feel that when Neptune completes its retrograde and hits that 1 degree aspect, it could be another time frame to watch, which is in March of 2026. And I'm also focusing on the next time we get connections between Neptune and Venus for another potential time frame for a big quake. Now looking at the partial solar eclipse of 2022 on the left hand side, and note that if we draw a line to the subsolar point, it goes right to the Drake Passage region, which is quite fascinating. Now we do get some very interesting symmetry. The upcoming solar eclipse in September of 2025 also has a very interesting feature and symmetry, and this time if we draw a line to the subsolar point of the solar eclipse, it measures itself directly under the New Zealand region, which may be a perfect reflection of a future earthquake to come just south of New Zealand, or the Macquarie Islands region, or the Balleny Islands. Now a forecast for a future event for the region, and potentially just further east to Falkland Islands and South Shetland Islands, or potentially the Scotia Sea region. Now this event would be due to the reconnection of both Venus and Neptune. This time they'll be reaching an opposition, we can see on the chart, and at the same time of the opposition we get Pluto reaching a station, as well as the connection and that time conjunction of Venus and Neptune. This time we get the opposite. But I do feel this is a key time frame, and importantly we also have a weak trine aspect between Jupiter and Saturn taking place on this day. This is on the 14th of October. So just summarising that the period of mid-October is highly significant, and it may represent another quake for Drake Passage, or potentially eastward into Falkland Islands, Scotia Sea or the South Shetland Islands, and it is featured in my October newsletter. Now, I do feel that the period in 2026 could be even more significant as we get some very amazing symmetry coming together. We're now looking at March of 2026 and find an amazing correlation and planetary geometry day where we get a series of planetary connections not only between Sun and Mercury, but we also get a three-way planetary alignment between Saturn, Venus and Neptune. But importantly, if we look closer, we get the conjunction of Venus and Neptune. This is exactly the same planetary alignment and the first earthquake for Drake Passage in May of 2025, the same planetary alignment on the same degree, 1 degree 17 minutes. Both planets will be making this same connection again in 2026, but if that's not enough, note that the 1 degree aspect marks both earthquakes for Drake Passage for Neptune, and Neptune's making its third 1 degree aspect again early in 2026. So this stands out as extremely potent and powerful, and it may be a much larger earthquake for the region and something to watch. This is something that should be a public video in 2026. I will be making this earlier in the year. This is highly significant, and I do feel it could represent an earthquake of greater magnitude, potentially 8 magnitude or larger for the region. And looking at the previous slides of this video, I do feel that this future event for the region may be related to the Saturn and Jupiter connection that was taking place around the Falkland Islands, South Shetland Islands and also the Drake Passage, and this may be the future epicenter for this event slightly east of the area of focus of the previous 2 earthquakes for Drake Passage. In summary, I do feel that the months of October 2025 and March of 2026 could be highly significant for major quakes, and I do feel that the Drake Passage region could see another quake in October, and we could get a much larger earthquake early in March of 2026, just east of the area of focus as it's related to the solar eclipse, as well as the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction of 2020, and another Pluto station of 2023, all culminating together with some strong symmetry and the potential for a much larger event. I do feel that this is the energy that's in play, and we could see a tsunami in early March based on this symmetry of the planetary echoes of Venus and Neptune hitting the same degree point as they were in May of 2025. For more information, please visit solarwatcher.net and quakewatcher.com, where there will be more information for members and subscribers, as well as website newsletters and astrocartography videos. Thanks for watching.